So today I'm going to do an early mock draft. I'm probably going to do 3 on this channel, 3 videos, and this is going to be my early one, kind of mid-season. We're at the end of college football. We have about 1 weekend. It's championship weekend. Then you have Senior Bowl. Then you have the bowl games, and those can all change how you prospect a player and how you kind of look at them, because these are the big matchups. You kind of get the top guys against the top prospects, and you kind of get to see where they land. And the biggest thing is you got to take those games kind of with a grain of salt, because you look at guys and you can't just evaluate their entire season off of those games. We look at a guy like Tyrell versus Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase torched Tyrell, and now Tyrell is one of the best young corners in the NFL, especially on man coverage when he got burnt against Jamar Chase in college. We can't just look at that, and a lot of people thought Tyrell was going to be a bust or a reach unless you lived in the Atlanta Falcons facilities and saw how much he worked. He's one of the best young corners in the NFL. There's no denying it. People are comparing him to an island at this point. But with the draft order being at what it is and being so chaotic, I kind of wanted to do a rough mock draft. This is kind of me just spitballing. I got a lot of draft prospects to the right of me that I'm going to be looking at, kind of aiming at where they could land. Number 1 pick, this is not going to be very much of a surprise. I have Kayvon Thibodeaux going to the Lions. I'm kind of projecting what the hype will be for these players, what I think they'll do in the combine or their pro days, or even if they'll do certain things at the pro days. Some guys won't do their 40s, some guys will, and it'll boost up their stock. And I just think, as much as Aiden Hutchinson is probably one of the best prospects in this draft, I think he is a boom star. I see power, I see speed, I see technique when I watch Aiden Hutchinson, and there's so much hype behind him. And the Ohio State game was a fantastic showing of that, and he gets a showed against Iowa. But the thing is Kayvon Thibodeaux is just one of those you can't miss prospects. He is so talented, he is so fast, he's size, he's everything you want. He had a 91.5 pass rushing grade. He's a pass rusher. The Lions have so many holes. Let's talk about fit with the Lions. The Lions have so many holes. It's one of those things where I almost wish the Lions would trade back, get a couple first-round picks with these. With so many teams having multiple first-round picks this draft, you could trade back from the number 1 pick. Because I feel like if they trade back, got a guy like Aiden Hutchinson, and get a Michigan guy, and then end up getting another pick and fill more holes with top-tier talent. I think if there's a draft to trade the number 1 pick, it's this one. Like, you don't have a Trevor Lawrence, you don't have a Joe Burrow, you don't have a savior at the quarterback position in this draft. I genuinely don't think there's a savior at the quarterback position. I see a couple franchise guys, I see a couple potential franchise guys, but I don't see a franchise game changer, a guy that can Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, and that could obviously change. I didn't see it in Justin Herbert, but now he's obviously the star of the Chargers right now. I've spent way too long on this first pick. If I'm the GM of the Lions, I'm trading back, getting 2 top 15 potentially first round picks, and using that to get like an Aiden Hutchinson and Evan Neal, or a Garrett Wilson, a weapon on the outside, and then get a project QB in the 2nd round. I would definitely try to go get Malik Willis if he's not an early round pick. If he ends up being a 2nd round or a late 1st round, go get Malik Willis. Let him sit and get a weapon like Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson. I really want one of the 3 wide receivers from Ohio State to go to Detroit, because they need playmakers. That's the truth of it. Number 2, we have Houston, and a lot of people are projecting Matt Corral to go here. And Houston is probably the toughest team to project, other than Philadelphia, on where a player is going to land, because we don't know the Deshaun Watson situation, how it's going to play out. If I'm the Miami Dolphins, I'm sticking with Tua. You are in a situation where he could end up like Drew Brees. Drew Brees was kind of back and forth, and then they didn't stick with him, obviously, and he goes to a new situation, ends up blossoming. I think Tua hasn't had time to develop his game because of injuries. Now, you can make a decision to move off a guy and potentially hope that he stays healthy and he can develop, or you stick with Tua for another year and try to build around him. We don't know how the season's going to end for the NFL. We're kind of in the middle of a weird spot. I mean, teams have I think we have 3 teams with double first-round picks, and this is why this mock draft is going to be so interesting, because a lot of teams aren't going to have to worry about a team jumping them, because right behind them is themselves. But if you were to ask me what Houston's going to do with this pick, I think Aiden Hutchinson goes here. Houston has a love for defensive ends and defensive linemen, and they love building around it. And this franchise hasn't changed a lot when it comes to ownership, and not a lot of things are going to tell me that they're going to go Matt Corral. They're going to go with a quarterback here. I think for some reason they're going to be stubborn, and they're going to go with a defensive lineman. And I think if they do, it's going to be Aiden Hutchinson, the best player available after Kayvon Thibodeaux. And honestly, these first 2 picks could swap. But right now, that's what I think is going to happen. At 3, we have Jacksonville. Jacksonville's going to want to... This is the logical pick for Jacksonville, right? They have some problems. It's obvious they have problems. And Urban Meyer's already made some questionable picks so far. But I think you go Evan Neal here. Or Kyle Hamilton. Or Stingley here. Stingley you haven't seen play a lot. But it's obvious the talent's there. He's the best corner in this draft. There's no doubting that. Kyle Hamilton, I think he's a freakish athlete. A lot of people are thinking Kyle Hamilton will go at this pick. I think, honestly, thinking of how Jacksonville is going to work, they're going to want to keep Trevor Lawrence healthy. And he's been getting hit a lot. He's been having to move a lot. I think the best draft pick right here is Evan Neal. I'm going Evan Neal here just because he is a mammoth. He's a massive lineman. He's 6'7", 350. They're going to try to keep Trevor Lawrence healthy, and that's the best way to go about it. I think this is a very defensive-heavy draft, and I think they can get potentially good guys later on in this draft. And I hope they play it safe and build a lineman for him, and I don't want them to reach. And don't get me wrong, any of those defensive prospects, I could see, honestly, Kyle Hamilton, I know he's being projected in a lot of mock drafts to go here. I could see them going with Stingley as they try to build around a corner a la Jalen Ramsey. But I need to get through these draft picks a little bit faster. We're going with New York. I think they go with Kyle Hamilton. They need a safety. They've known to go high on safeties. I don't know if they will go this high on Kyle Hamilton, but I think he's a can't-miss prospect at 6'4". He's everything you want out of the safety. It's a defensive pick. I expect the Jets to probably go with defense a lot in this draft. I think they believe in their offensive line. With their next pick at 5, I think they would trade down again. Right here, I think it's a... Don't hit your mic, Tegan. Come on now. I could see them going George Karlaftis. Karlaftis. I butchered that name. I apologize, George. Someone tell me how to pronounce his name correctly, and I will make sure I get that correct. I could see them going with him, going 2 defensive linemen. There's not a weapon that you want to draft this high other than Chris Olave, and they need weapons. So I'm going to stick with, and they could go offensive line here, but I could see them sticking with George, and I'm going to stick with George right here. Kind of just keeping that defense. With the head coach that they have, they're going to want defense. They're going to build around defense, and I could see Chris Olave being drafted here, but with the Giants pick, we're going to have some offensive linemen here because they need it. And I think the first guy that comes to mind, logically, it's Kenyan Green, and they should go with Kenyan Green. But I think they're going to go with Ike Ekwonu from NC State. He's a guy that's going to go up in the draft. He's a run-blocking guy. And then I think they go Kenyan Green because I think they go 2 offensive linemen because their offensive line is so terrible. They have the weapons. They have a decent enough defense. I could see quarterback here, but I don't know if they go all in. And I think this is a team that could trade for Russell Wilson. So these draft picks, I don't know if they're there. I think these could be Seattle draft picks. And honestly, I wouldn't change the draft picks because Seattle needs an offensive line. But I go Icky and I go Kenyan Green because Kenyan Green has played all 5 positions in college football. He's wherever you need him to be. He is fantastic at every spectrum of the game. I think he's the best offensive lineman behind Evan Neal. and Derek Stingley could fall. That's my big prediction. I think Derek Stingley falls to Philadelphia, and they put him alongside a great corner in Darius Slay, and he builds with Darius Slay, and they build a really good secondary in Philadelphia. And with that being said, Philadelphia goes Matt Corral. I don't think they fully believe. I know in my previous video I thought they believe in Jalen Hurts, and I jinxed Jalen Hurts and he goes and throws 3 picks. I think they see Matt Corral, they get desperate, and they go get him, and Jalen Hurts gets shipped off to Pittsburgh or something. I don't want it to happen because I do still believe in Jalen Hurts, but I don't believe the Philadelphia organization. This isn't the guy they drafted. The head coach didn't draft Jalen Hurts. He wants a guy that fits Matt, and probably Matt Corral fits him better from seeing what their offense is like. And Devontae Smith, Matt Corral connection is going to be a thing. That's my prediction for back-to-back picks. And Carolina gets really interesting here because we have really good guys here. Tyler Linderbaum, probably the best center available. And I think, honestly, you go Tyler Linderbaum, you go Charles Cross probably here. I think they could go quarterback here. But if you ask me, with the amount of offensive linemen there is, they have one of the worst offensive line. I think they go either Tyler Linderbaum or Charles Cross, but I'm going to guess Charles Cross here. Just because he's a name that's been shooting up a lot of draft boards. He's a pass blocking tight end. He's going to fit Matt Rule's system. I know this isn't the most surprising. I'm not doing anything crazy here. I mean, I could see potentially Kenny Pickett shooting up here. I could see Chris Olave potentially next up. Looking at a couple draft picks ahead, you have Atlanta, who could look at a Tyler Linderbaum. You have Minnesota, who isn't going to look for a weapon, so they're probably going to go linebacker. New Orleans, I think Chris Olave is your guy. I think New Orleans gets Chris Olave. These are just rapid fire. Philadelphia gets a potential weapon. Cleveland could get a weapon. Pittsburgh, I think Pittsburgh is set up to get Kenny Pickett. I think there's so many teams on this list that have gotten a quarterback or could wait a year on a quarterback. The only one that I think Houston isn't ballsy enough to pick Matt Corral. I don't think they are. But that's just like a quick mock draft. This is like very unstructured. Once we get to the end of the season and I get to see the final mock draft and see where everyone lands, I'm going to do official breakdown, reasonings on why, holes and weaknesses. It's going to be it's going to be like a 25-minute video with film analysis, but this is the roughest sketch of a mock draft I can do. If you like the video, please like, subscribe. It's finals week. I think I can only do one video a day. I got to study. I got to get things done. Follow the TikTok, follow the Twitter, follow the Instagram, and thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.